going to go ahead and officially get started. Oh my goodness, it's already 3 minutes after the hour. Welcome to Property and Paper Live. This is Don Rickabaugh with NoteQueen.com. And can you believe it's 2026 already? I don't know, 25 just went just like that. And I think with this being the year of the fire horse, Chinese year of the fire horse, I think this is going to be one of those years that just has a lot going on, very fast pace. I think by the end of the year, by the time we're having our last Property and Paper Live of 2026, I dare say that all of us are going to be living in a different world internally and probably externally. So it's going to be a phenomenal opportunity if we can stay grounded. And I think there's so many things that will probably be difficult, but the opportunity for positioning yourself, creating the life that you want, I think we can probably do in a fraction of the time. Think we can do things in a year that might have taken half a lifetime before. I truly believe that there's just so much shifting and possibility that's available. So that being said, we started the year off with a very interesting silver move in the silver market, which is very significant in terms of well, things are changing. They've always been able to manipulate the price down, and now they aren't or can't. We've got lots of other big activities happening. We've got more and more being disclosed left and right here and there. It's going to be one for the books, I think, this year. And in terms of the real estate market, in fact, I had my note template, note appraisal course, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, and a guy on there that buys a lot of notes, a lot of secondary notes, a lot of non-performing notes. We were talking, and he says, well, in some of the areas that he buys, real estate prices have dropped 30% already from last year. So, and then it was interesting. I had a gal reach out to me that she's been in the investing space, and she says, and we hadn't been in contact in a while, and she goes, Don, I think you ought to create like a circle, a really this non-bank circle thing. Have you ever thought of that? And I go, yeah, I'm kind of right in the middle of it. I said, why do you say that? And she says, well, everywhere I look, the non-bank housing solutions, non-bank, non-Wall Street retirement solutions, people are looking for these everywhere. And so basically that falls right into our owner financing and note investing conversation. With what we know how to do, we can create non-bank solutions. And I'm not saying that banks don't have their place, but they're not absolutely required. And so for those that are wondering, if you're on this call, you probably already know because you read the email, which got you to this call. But if you're listening on YouTube or a podcast, I just created, since I'm the Note Queen, I decided to create the Realm. And then there's a group inside the realm called Citizens. So you can become a citizen of the realm. And I've been playing with that on and off for a few years probably, but finally it's in solid form. And this is going to be my ground level community. And that is where the full episodes of these Property and Paper Lives are going to be hosted. Inside of that is completely free to participate, to join. But we're only going to have, I don't know, however long this video turns out to be, maybe a 10 to 15-minute video that goes out on YouTube here. So please come. And if you like what you hear, just come in a little closer and you can start to really understand this world, what I call the dance between property and paper, where we can create financial solutions, just one mom and pop to another. And I was kind of laughing to myself because, this AI thing is just a big thing. Okay, AI, it's taking over the world. People are going to lose their jobs and all this. And then I just realized I'm super all about AI this year, except for AI to me means angel investor. So this is the year for me of angel investor where I'm really going to frame what we're doing here in terms of I'm going to find the angel investors in my community who I consider to be the people who have 80% plus equity in their homes, usually investment properties, landlord properties, and also just people in the community that have money to deploy and they don't want to send it off to Wall Street. They like the idea of keeping it in the community. So basically, I'm on the lam for AI, my angel investors, and everything about real estate, owner financing, note investing is kind of consolidating into that sort of theme for me this year. So I got a book started or a little, I think it's going to be turned into more of a blueprint actually, but called the Angel Investor Next Door. Just remember that book, The Millionaire Next Door? It's kind of like off of that. So anyway, this is a phenomenal time to solve problems. When you've got a ton of people that they can't sell in certain neighborhoods, and then you've got people that can't get in. What we're doing is creating a real estate annuity, an alternative to the stock market and bonds and all of that for the retiree. And we are getting newer people, younger people into homes without needing bank financing. That doesn't mean they don't have to have a good down payment or they have crappy credit. No, you just have to, I don't know, just like a mom, the kids have to do their chores and they have to behave and they have to, qualify for the benefits that they want. So there's a balance to be had in all of that. So, I'll just gonna open it up. Dave, I haven't seen you on one of these calls for a few times. You just want to catch us up? I know if you want to share what's happening with that note purchase you were working on and I was kind of over your
Well,
shoulder on?
well, a couple of things. First of all, you need to move your operation to our condo in St. Louis because our address is King Henry Court.
That's so funny.
Right. So,
Yeah.
well, let's see. The one we were talking about was I was buying a note through PaperStack in Houston, and you've helped me with it, and we had it checked out, and everything's fine. It's just getting through the PaperStack system. I'm used to an escrow company,
Uh,
and they
yeah.
have their own internal system, and so it's just that, it was basically send in your money and we'll show you all the documents. It was like, no, I'll see the documents and I'll send you the money,
Oh,
which I think was
interesting.
more of a misunderstanding than a con job, so to speak. But it's my first time in that system. But yeah, I'll go through it and go ahead with a note, and thank you for your help with that.
Okay,
Yeah.
so everything worked out. I think the last thing you told me is that you weren't, it was a newer note servicing company that I hadn't heard of and kind of direct.
Correct. Yeah, it's called Moat, MOAT, and they're out of Austin. And I reached out to them, but it was in that Christmas New Year's time and never heard
Oh,
back.
right.
So I was just about to change, and then bingo, they came forward, and obviously based on your recommendation, and I agree, keeping the payor paying to the same company is a much smoother transition.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see how it works out. So
Yeah, and I thought, describe the note because I think like people like to hear what are people really doing?
um
How do they feel
I
safe
I
buying a
I
note?
I
And
I wish I could remember exactly, but it's somewhere around, I think it was around 70 or something. I've got three things going on. That's why I don't remember specifically. But the question was, what was the true value of the property? And it was put to me at about 280. That's the Zillow value. Well, Zillow is a four-letter word on steroids. Um,
yeah.
and basically, but based on, I through you, we found had a BPO done, and
Hmm.
my own neighborhood research and so on put it at about 130, which is still about a 40% loan to value. And this is a 10-year, it's a 30-year note already seasoned about 10 years.
Right. So you got and I can't remember the down payment. the guy bought it for shoot
Um, I,
140 or
I,
something.
yeah, I don't remember particulars, but it was a normal
Yeah,
20%
it was
down.
decent.
Yeah, yeah, salaried people,
Hmm.
non-citizens,
Right.
uh, and with the track record, and so and I think it's about a little over an 11% yield, which
Yeah, I
for
think the
me,
yeah.
go ahead.
Yeah, the coupon rate or the face rate of the note, I think was 10.5, wasn't it?
Exactly. Yeah. So I
Yeah.
didn't get much of a discount, which is fine because, if I can get 10 or 11, I'm happy as a clam.
Okay,
So,
yeah. So basically
uh,
30-year note, seasoned for 10 years, and basically decent down payment, all of that. I had thought that the BPO came in a better than that. I thought it was north of
so
200.
around 238, something like that.
Oh, you said 130 a minute
Oh, no,
ago.
no, I'm sorry, 230 and
Okay, I
230.
was like,
Sorry.
whoa.
Yeah. No, no, no.
Yeah.
It came in fine.
Yeah, it was like 230 or something. So
Yeah.
think of that. What's your investment to value on that? What real quick here. So in
Thir-
terms of security,
30, yeah, it's about a 30% in that range.
yeah, 70,000 divided
Mhm.
by value of the property 230. Yeah, you're at a 30% loan to value, investment to value. And the only, what would you say is if there was going to be like a question mark, if there was any risk, what would you think it would be?
I don't see any risk in the property or the note, only the people, anybody's ability to pay.
Hmm.
And the thing I like about this, because it's seasoned and there's some room in their monthly payment, you could offer to lower their monthly payment and still cover the interest. So I
Okay.
think there's a lot of room to work with a borrower.
Right. As long as they're still around, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, because that has the deportation has
Hmm.
affected a lot of notes. So I'm
Right.
kind of wondering if the people that originated it are kind of reducing their exposure if they have a huge portfolio of,
Um,
you know,
that I don't know.
yeah, interesting. I mean, so yeah.
So time
Uh,
time will tell.
yeah, but still, even worst case scenario, it's not like you have to hang out forever if you have to
Mhm.
repossess the property.
Yeah. So that was
So,
one I was working on. The second one was another note that I was going to buy through PaperStack, and it was on a piece of land near Placerville. And as I started inquiring more, it was that the guy was borrowing the money to basically close on the property to create the note. He advertised it on PaperStack as a performing note
oh gosh.
when the note didn't exist. That being said, it still was going to be a decent note. And but he kept saying, the guy makes 20,000 a month. And I said, fine, prove it. So I get 3 months of bank statements, which show uh, all of from an LLC, his business bank statements, which are showing his groceries and his gas and
Oh
everything else on
boy.
his business bank statement. So I said, just, how about a tax return? Well, he doesn't file taxes. And so that's a fairly red flag. I mean, it was negotiated to about a 24% return. And and that part, and I was fine with the property and everything. But then I just finally said I'm not going to do it. And he basically came back to the agent guy putting it together, whatever, who came back to me crying that, oh, you're canceling it on my birthday. It's
Oh my
like,
gosh.
I'm sorry, it's not my problem. So I
Did
walked from what could have been a good 24% note, but certainly could have had its share of problems.
yeah, did you send him a pacifier? I mean,
Right.
maybe, I always love that when you're supposed to be this professional. When I took back a property or a note, well, it was a property. I probably said this. Do you remember that contract for deed? And I mainly don't do contract for deeds, but it was in Oregon. And I thought, well, I thought I had about a $60,000-$70,000 spread on there. But
Mhm.
that's why you buy at a big discount because by the time I got it back, and they were sweet, they just gave it back. They said, we can't afford this anymore. Just take it back. They deeded the property back and it was super easy and they were very helpful because it was land and nobody else knew how to, the other, it was kind of obscure of how you access it. And they were very wonderful. But at the end of the day, just the realities of things, I think I walked away with, I don't know, 25 to 30 instead of 60 to 70. But what was my point on that? What were we just talking about?
About the spread and the costs if you
Yeah.
take it back.
Because okay, so I get this property back and I go, okay, well, I got to find a realtor, right, to help me up there and ones that hopefully know something about land. And I had one that I talked to initially, but he didn't have any background. He was very engaging, and it was interesting. And then I got a referral to somebody who was just knew land backwards and forwards, and I was so glad I ended up with that person. But when I told the guy, I said, "Hey, I've decided to like." He never would get me his listing contract. He was just like dragging his feet, and so I just said, "Hey." He goes, "Well, I'd like to send you that contract." And I said, "Hey, I've decided to go with someone else." And he just wrote me this big long email like, "I've been over there for like 3 days and clearing this out, and I've done all this research. I mean, I can't believe you." And it's like, dude, this is a grown-up world, you know? Especially when you're an agent, you work hard for free a lot of the time. So,
So I just closed a third one today,
did
and
you?
which well
Wow.
I got a call from a mortgage broker. This lady bought a piece of land up north of Grass Valley, which is pretty valuable country. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and she paid, I think it was 279 for it, and she owed, and the seller carried it an 80,000 first with a 1 year due date.
Oh,
Yeah, big mistake. And the due date came, and the lender filed an NOD like the next day, put it
uh,
straight into foreclosure. And
wow.
the lady had planned on selling her home and buying it, but the market has slowed down, so she hasn't been able to sell her home to pay off the lot. So I just jumped in and loaned her basically 87,000 at 10% to so she could end her foreclosure. And I just wrote it as like a 7 year note, and she can go solve her problem now.
Oh, that's fantastic. So yeah, California, and you put that just as a private deal. You didn't have a broker.
It got brokered by a mortgage broker, but yes, a
Oh, I
private
see.
deal. Yeah.
Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's 10%, so there's no usury issues. I didn't charge any points, any fees, anything. I let the mortgage broker do that. And
Yeah, fantastic. So there's stuff happening, there's stuff out there, and
oh,
you know,
and that was with like 1 week's notice, just a call saying, "Can you do this?" And I had just been paid off on another note, so the answer was yes.
fantastic.
So, and I keep trying to be retired.
First, you have to get tired, and
Right.
then you can get retired.
Right.
Like fried beans and then refried beans. It's
Right.
the whole thing. I'm
Yep.
surprised that living in California, you didn't know that. So, okay, is there anybody else? I'm gonna look. Oops, the chat's been going. Oh yeah, thanks, Mark, on the knee. Yeah, hang on for the ride with the fire horse. What was owner occupied though? The lot he was just talking about, or was that the Texas deal?
Texas was owner occupied.
Yeah, it seemed like it was a income residential, wasn't
Nope.
it?
Nope. Just primary home.
Oh, okay. There was something in the files, but I noticed
Mm-hmm.
in that big paper stack file that you got or whoever provided
Mm-hmm.
it, they had it mixed in with a different APN
Cor-
as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah. They had some incorrect documents in there.
Yeah, but no big deal. So good deal.
But it is a good reminder to read all the details. I mean,
Yeah.
I used to have to train back when I had the real estate company, agents, I had to teach them to read a prelim because once in a while the prelim comes and it's on the wrong property.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Wow.
yeah, so it's all in the paperwork.
Yeah. That last one you just did for 87,000 was a vacant lot, right?
Well, it had a old, an old uninhabitable cabin on it.
Okay. So it wasn't her primary residence. So it
No,
was
no, 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 no.
business purpose loan. So,
Investment property.
right, right, right. So that makes a big difference. Would you do a
Mhm.
consumer loan?
If it was through a broker and I liked the numbers, I guess, if it was
Yeah.
properly
Yeah.
brokered.
A lot of people won't even touch that anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. And isn't there a bill they're going to put into Congress that they're going to try to move away to basically get around that?
You know what? I don't know. If you find out,
Uh,
let me
yeah,
know.
I think I can. Well, keep going and I'll let you know.
Yeah, and I know that from our class, just updates is I'm probably gonna have to just bend over and get some NMLS licensing and things. I think it's coming in Nevada. I've got to look into that. But just, it's kind of a bummer. But as a small boutique operator, I don't tend to worry as much about things, but still, it's unless the regulatory landscape changes dramatically, it's just kind of you gotta comply. The bigger your organization gets, you just can't afford to have something weird just take you down, sideswipe you like that. Kanisha's saying she's renewing now. And Kanisha, I don't, you and David should connect because I know sometimes you're trying to put deals together.
Yeah,
And she's an NMLS in California.
I may
So,
be getting other states, probably the states where I don't have to take the test, the CEs.
mm,
They just want my money and not my life. So,
mm.
yeah, but California for sure, I'm doing that one now.
Yeah, good deal. So anyone who, hears this now or later on, I'd love to throw some business at Kanisha. We've been in each other's lives for a while now, right, girl?
Yes, for a quite a while, and I'm very, very grateful. Like I said before, the way that we are kindred is just we have so many things in common, and I'm just very glad that I met you, particularly one as a human being, and then two
Oh,
just in this space. So thank you,
thank you.
Don.
Thank you. I mean, having people that are like-minded, it's just such a gift. It's like the sisterhood or sorry guys, it's the siblinghood. I don't know. Dave, did you?
I was going to tell you, I just emailed to you that bill that's being proposed.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. It's hard to keep up on everything. That's why it kind of takes a village. It really
Yeah.
does. So I appreciate that. All right. Does anyone else have something going on? We're about halfway into it. And I just want to know if anyone has a question, a situation, they want to share a story. Please feel free to just unmute and jump in if it's not too noisy in the background or send over a chat. I just had a deal close yesterday and I got the money in my bank account today. I was so glad. It's kind of that it was an actually rehab flip. I hadn't done one since pre-COVID, and I had a learning experience on that project because prices kind of doubled. But I loved it. I just really love it. But man, I'm really glad to have that whiny baby when on the money came in, it's like, oh, and the sweetest little family is in there now. They have two kids of their own, young family. They work really hard. They have good jobs, and they have besides their two, oh, they had one of their own. Then they're adopting one, and then they have anywhere from besides that 3 to 5 foster kids at any given time. So they have a house full. So this acre out there in Silver Springs was just great for them. So I always love it. It really matters to me. I guess I don't have to hate anyone, but it's like, you just have this feeling when the energetics of the house and the property match, like you just know they belong together. And then it's not just like a financial transaction. It's just, it feels so good and they're so sweet. And she's like, oh, I work with NV Energy and Lyon County all the time. If you need anything, I'll help you with anything you need. And I'm like, you know what? I'm probably gonna pull that one in at some point. Marking saying, yeah, they're pushing the licensing. Oh gosh, you have some very cool meetings in the past with some awesome people. Oh, do you mean in-person meetings, Mark? Because I've been doing these for a bit. Yes, in-person meetings. I don't know. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll get the courage and the gumption to do that again. I appreciate that, Mark. I do. Yeah, shoot. Those 3 years we did in Tahoe were pretty classic. They were special.
I made some good connections through that.
Yeah, yeah, okay. I just don't be surprised if I take you up on that, Mark. But yeah, I have been kind of missing that. Yeah, just I might